Good morning and welcome to Independence at its Best. Today we're going to be looking at and clearing things like low emotions like grief and sorrow, things that are maybe slowing you down on your path, preventing you from moving forward. We're going to do potentially, that's what I'm thinking about right now, is an activation on your authority once we've gotten you pretty cleaned up. Um, it's a good day, the day before our 4th of July, our independence, and day of freedom, remembering that we are free to live a life of spiritual freedom. So we'll be doing our love wisdom affirmation in just a moment. So welcome everyone to class, and let's get started. We have about almost 200 people in this class. So wonderful class. I realize some of you will be watching it tomorrow. By the way, I just wanted to let you know we do have a special during this class, a half price special. It's only till midnight tonight, but if you wanted to jump into the overcoming fear and anxiety training that's coming up just around the corner, we'll put that link up in the chat box for you, and you can get in at half price. That's not going to be offered anytime other than now for until midnight tonight. So if you want to jump in on that, there'll be a link up a couple times during class in the chat box. Okay, well, let's get started. Okay, and you are in Independence at its Best, and you're in the community program. And we today are going to bow our heads in reverence and prayer. And however it is that you connect with the divine, sometimes putting the head down allows us to remember the seventh chakra, the direct connection with the divine. Sometimes it's also an act of humility, of humbling to something greater, something even more than we are, and really allowing the presence of the divine to come fully into you rather than standing kind of, I'm the one. We drop into a posture of humbleness, of humbling ourselves before the Creator. And bringing your hands either in prayer position with fingers embracing each other, or the prayer hand, both beautiful for prayer. And we really want to check in with our heart and our mind and get those syncing up. And the heart and mind chakra, you might even see a loop connecting the heart and the mind with the entire blueprint. Mother, Father, God, angels, golden legions, guides, gods, goddesses, saints, and sages of the greater and lesser traditions, Jesus and Mary, and all those holy beings, those sainted, wise masters who stand with us to help us transform, illuminate, and awaken, to change our own set point, our own presence and authority on the planet, our frequency to a higher frequency, our vibration to a higher vibration. We thank you all for your presence, for the support that you bring, for the guidance, for the love, for holding the space and keeping the sacred circle with us. We ask that any usurpers or thieves, people sneaking in without permission, be held from that space today, that we might not have a challenge today, that today is a day of clear sailing. We are grateful for the air we breathe, for the water we drink, for the food that nourishes our bodies. We are thankful for the music we hear, birdsong, sound of the wind rustling through the leaves in the trees, the tall grass. We're thankful for the great blue skies and the night sky filled with stars and planets. Thank you for awe and wonder, for grace and ease. And we also thank you for challenge and discordance. We thank you for the things that make us grow and keep us strong and help us to refine our love wisdom, our understanding, and accelerate our growth. We ask for a miracle for each student in this program, and especially a miracle today for all those who have suffered with low emotion, with feeling badgered by the emotional and instinctual brain that never lets them stay in that sage brain, that wise elder wisdom brain, for any consistent period of time. We're looking for a transformation. We're looking for more consistency in being able to fully express in contentment, joy, grace, ease, and the celebration of life. Life in present and the life we are looking forward to come. We thank you for our breath, for the air that we breathe that fills our lungs. And we also thank you for the mechanism of breathing consciously and bringing that pranic life force into the body, this pranic breath that when activated awakens our kundalini and the ancient life force of perception. We thank you for the deep connection of spirit to body, of body to energy, fully supported in this beautiful sea of supporting fields of Genesis, new life and new creation, of embodiment, being able to master and live out powerfully spirit in body, of quantum, the field of transformation that allows us to create miracles every moment of every day, large and small, and the field of amplification that helps us with our dreaming, our imagining, and with creating a wonderful, amazing, magnificent life. We thank you for the people we love. We are in deep, deep gratitude for all the little wonderful surprises that sneak through in our day. A text from a sister, a call from a long-lost friend, an email from someone you knew in the past that you worked with. And all those little moments of connection, because we are meant in this body to be connected with others. And as we release isolation and sorrow and grief, we awaken to that beautiful feeling of being connected with everyone, not with silly cords and control energy, but with love and the quantum field. We are deeply and profoundly grateful for the life that we have, for the strength, the vitality, and the youthfulness that we experience, for the weight that we are, for the strength of our muscles and the flexibility of our joints. In any limitation, we are grateful for all that is good that works in any capacity, knowing that we have a right to transform. And over time, as we gather information and clear away that which is no longer us, we know that transformation is at hand. We thank you for all the gifts of spirit, the outpouring of spiritual gifts that we are receiving. We thank you for this academy and this community. We ask that love expand in the next coming days and weeks, and that our understanding continue to grow as we grow and mature in our spiritual understanding. Amen. And you can just feel into what resonated with you in that connecting with the divine. You might have transformed already, beginning your clearing. You might feel even more deeply connected with your heart center and your mind aligned with heart and spirit. You might be more connected with the divine now. So just breathing into the prayer and the prayer experience, that sacred humbling of gratitude and appreciation, of asking and acknowledging. And now together with full conviction, knowing that you can transform. And I feel that this is an important part of transformation, is the affirming that this is my right and I claim it to be my truth. I am free to live a life of spiritual freedom and full self-expression, liberated in love, gratitude, and mastery in this body here and now. My spirit is limitless. I am responsible for any limits I experience in this body and have complete access to the divine through prayer and contemplation to release myself from any human bonds I have worn as spiritual clothing that no longer resonate with my essence. And the opening blessing is a call to lighten, one song that we often sing, acknowledging that we are the guardian spirits on the planet. We are the wise elders, that we are raising our thoughts and bringing a plane, a reality, a frequency, a vibration, a new set point of peace and love. That we work with the spirit guides that we pray to, that we call on, Mother, Father, God, angels, all of the beings that we call on as we pray, that those gentle voices right on the other side, gently calling our name, our song, speaking to us about the magic and wonder we yield, and we are often forgetting that we wield that magic and wonder. So let's sing together. Soft the night and sweet the spirit, gentle voices call our song. We are magic, we are wonder, when we live beyond the veil. Humankind, please raise your thoughts. Bring a plane of peace and love. We the guardians of the pilgrims. We the authors of the play. And we'll be clearing sorrow, grief, depression, sadness, melancholy. So we're going to be clearing low emotions and resetting to a high frequency. That is what we're doing today. And I'm going to put up our clearing chart next. All right, and right permission and ability to fully in all aspects of my blueprint permanently, to expand fully and completely into a joyful, fulfilling life, disappearing the stagnant energies of low emotion, grief, sorrow, sadness that have taken up root in my emotional tenor and are now fully clearing, resetting at grace, ease, happiness, and celebration of life, removing altering, apathetic, controlling, damaging, demonic, dominating, harmful, intolerant, satanic, and suppressing. We're going to start with the DNA drop. I just want to point out to you, I decided it is all aspects of our blueprint, but the aspects that largely showed up were matter, Genesis, embodiment, and amplification. And so when you are in grief, your physical body is largely affected. And so there's a definite effect on your body. There's a definite effect on the feeling of joy and hopefulness, which prevents much regeneration. So there's not much going on in Genesis when you're in those low feelings of grief and sorrow. As a matter of fact, when I was in that experience, I was very dissociated from my embodiment, my feeling like I could physically be in the body. I know after we lost Virgil, who did not, as far as I know, die, he went into the foster system. He was taken from us and given to a woman who was up on charges of abuse and neglect, and the birth mother who was a cocaine addict. So the two of them were going to be taking care of our little fella. Which bloodline they've got the baby, but I remember feeling like at first I couldn't get out of bed. I think I had certainly a week of mostly being in bed. I think it was more like 10 or 12 days I was in bed. And the director of the school Adelia had been going to came and picked her up in the morning and dropped her off and brought us food. But I think you have a hard time being in your body when you're in those low grieving sorrow emotions, which then also thwarts regeneration Genesis. And then amplification is in a very negative way affected. So you're not amplifying in a positive way. You have this dark energy, and it's kind of stirring darkness in you. Now, it's not going to bring all bad to you, because obviously people see that you're suffering and you're a bright light. Like I felt like I'm a bright light in the world, and people saw something different and wanted to help. But you don't want to stay in that emotion. You want to stagnate. You want to get stuck. You want to move through that. So I just thought it was really interesting to take a look at the parts of the blueprint so we understand that these are the parts that are largely experiencing and undergoing problems when we're in that dark energy, that low emotion energy. We're going to start with, and you know what's so interesting is this low emotion energy is, again, largely about and stored in and running through your DNA. So we've got the DNA drop first, and then the side slide second, both of them affecting the DNA, and then platter, which removes stuck energy from your field and body. So I believe that this is a DNA bloodline, largely a DNA and bloodline clearing, meaning that that's the techniques that we're using. So that's what we will be looking at for clearing. I want you to just have a glance at this chart. I have made the backup chart so that we don't miss anything, because I realize this chart is going to be a good representation of the 174 people that are registered for the class. But I wanted to cover every single thing. So we've got the master chart with the clearing statement as our backup chart. I'm just going to let you have just a connection with that chart. So that'll be our backup chart. It's just got every single thing on it that we know about so far. So just so you're making some contact with this chart, if there's something on it that you have an eighth or a quarter of a percent that did not show up when I set up the chart for the class. It's on the backup chart. So we've got everything, I believe, everything covered for you that we know about. Everything that we know about, we've got covered. Okay, and I will put the, let's see, I'm going to put the whole chart in the, that's going to be a lot, but I'm going to put the chart in the chat box for those of you who love to have the chart. And then it'll be up today, not to worry. It'll be in your member site after class today. So I haven't gotten it to them yet, but I will at our break today. Okay, and drop, let me just demonstrate that for a moment, and then we'll go back to having the chart up. So the DNA drop looks like this. So you start here and you come down the drop. And we're going to do that. And the flutter is just on the way down, and then you can bring your hand up like that. My hand likes to flutter, so I'm going to flutter up and down. It is not necessary. What we're looking at is in the drop, you're fluttering, and then you're bringing up, fluttering and bringing up. From there, we'll do the same movement, but we're going to do it across. So we're going to do it like this, across. And that's the side slide. And it starts with the hand like this, and then it's just fluttering across. So it's almost like you're scooping stuff off of your DNA strand. If you were imagining, and you've done some of the DNA meditations, you kind of imagine just scooping off and just kind of removing the stuff in the DNA. There were some timeline issues. This is also a timeline technique. Just removing that stuff. And then the final, let's see, what's the final one here? The final one is platter. Interesting, because that's what we start with when we do this, right? We start with the platter and then cross over. Kind of, the platter looks like this and this. So that will be our final hand movement, the platter. And it's the hand facing forward and then facing in. Platter. Okay, so we have our hand movements. So let's go back to the chart. Okay, and I'm going to say good morning to everyone. So good morning to Suzanne, Imona, Christina, Susan H., Anelli, Melissa. Okay, and Paula and Lori and Albert, Jennifer, Mina, Ilme, Cora, Arcady, Dawn, Dale, Jean, Johanna, Sybil. Hi, Sybil. Carolyn. Hi there. Joyce from Wisconsin. Joyce, I'm going to be up your way in just a couple weeks. I'm going to go heading to Minnesota. Chris in Kansas. Fatima and Catherine and Elena and Shirley and Linda, Anita, Carol, Diane B, Darlene, Anne, Aura, Elena, Yuki. Oh, there's Tommy. I made it. Good, Tommy. I'm glad you're here. Then Daniela, Anka. Hi, Anka and Callie. So welcome everyone to class. I'm really happy to see each one of you and all of you who haven't signed in yet. And I am thinking it's a pre-holiday, so we have more than 100 people who didn't get on the live call, unfortunately, this week. But hopefully you're going to be able to really enjoy this when you do get on the call. Yep, and we are right over the line from Minnesota and recently moved from Minnesota. Enjoy your time in Minnesota. Thank you, Joyce. Thank you. Just out of curiosity, if I arranged like 3 hours to have a visit and a meditation at our hotel in Minnesota, because we're going to be there 4 days, would I have some people from Minnesota show up? Maybe we should invite people to come for 3 hours at the hotel and we could meet in person. That might be kind of fun. Hi, Monica. How are you? Nice to see you. So just curious, I know there's a few Minnesota and Wisconsin people. So just let me know if I set something up, would you want to come? And I'm going to set the tone of the chart, the clearing chart. Okay, Joyce, thanks. I'm going to set the tone with Love Novena. I greet this day with love in my heart. Henceforth, I will look on all life with love. I realize the rebirth within myself. I love the sun and it warms me, yet I love the rain for it cleanses me, cleanses my spirit. I love the light for it shows me the way, yet I love the darkness for it shows me the stars. I welcome happiness for it expands my heart. I endure sadness for it teaches me compassion. I experience the challenges of my life as they aid in my growth. I greet this day with love in my heart. Okay, we have about a minute left on the drop, and then we're going to go to the side slide. And how many of you noticed after our training on balance and consistency that life got a little better, that things organized a little better for you, that you found yourself a little more committed to your life, more committed to full self-expression on some level? How many of you noticed a change? I know I certainly did. And followed up by, if some of you did, the motivation and consistency. That really seemed to do something stirring in my being, and I probably was ready for it. I'm certainly ready for this clearing, where just clearing out any remnants of low grieving energy, low sorrow kind of energy. So if you had a transformation as a result of the balance and consistency and potentially the motivation and consistency, why don't you let us know? I've noticed some big shifts. That's from Melissa. And then Carol, I felt a lot of change after the class and have been much more aware of living a full self-expression during the day and gratitude. Good, Carol. And Joyce, yes, I'm getting more done moving forward. That seems that way to me too. I'm seeming to be more kind of focusing in on what matters rather than chaos. So it's like I'm taking more action than I had been. I'm doing more than I think I can do, and yet I'm trying to keep a balance on things. So it's very, very interesting. Fatima, I'm having a much easier time getting so much done. Good. And this is Lori. I'm living more in gratitude and calmness. And Johanna said I did. Okay, great. Wonderful. I drew a card for the energy of the class today. And it's an interesting card. It's our little Sanskrit. Let's see, here we go. And its purity is the word suchita. Suchita, purity, suchita, suchita. And that's an interesting word to think about, purity, when we're thinking about letting go of grief and sorrow. And I can reflect back, because it was so recent when I was in grieving, that I didn't have that fresh feeling. I had a feeling like I was dipping into some low arena. I felt darkness moving around me. I felt, the effect of the cocaine and the other stuff that was going on with the baby and the blind and deaf. And, there was a real feeling of, I don't know, heaviness, uncleanness. So that may go along with these lower emotions. I don't think we're supposed to sit in grief for any period of time. I just don't think it's it isn't a place that a spirit can relate to, because spirit is eternal. So grief is related typically to a loss, and the body needs to feel it. The body needs to move through it. We lose something, the body misses it. So it's the physical body, it's not the spirit that's grieving, because um, our spirits are eternal. So we don't have that false belief in spirit, but we have the longing or missing of the physical body. So when we go into something like grief, we are going into a body sensation. And that is what we're looking at when we looked at the chart too. It was matter, embodiment, genesis, the ability to regenerate, and then amplification, how we're kind of continuing to, that can keep building, the darkness and the grief can keep building. You can talk about it. And I think that initially you need to talk about grieving. I think you need to have somebody to hear you and be a good sounding board. And I think ultimately, though, the healing comes from the gratitude and presence of knowing that all is in divine order. We got the first of the Virgie books, Hello, Goodbye, I Love You Forever. And it turned out really beautiful. I'm just going to change the front cover. That was one thing I wasn't fond of, but it's my beautiful angels, Adelia and Virgil. So precious. And there we go. There they are together. Adelia considers herself a big sister. She misses her brother and dreams about him. So I think they meet. They meet. They meet in the astral, in their dream space. And so Adelia is a big sister, and she has a brother who she may never see again. But yeah, so yeah. I'm so happy that we're doing this clear out, because you think, well, I've done everything I know to do, and then there's just doing more clearing, just like one foot in front of the other. I know when we knew a few weeks ago that we were not getting baby Ariana, I said I can't go down again like I did with Virgil. So I committed to myself to stay in a positive space, and to really focus on helping Adelia with her behavioral and learning challenges. And one of the things I am working on right now is Adelia's in a lot of therapies. She's in behavioral therapy, occupational therapy, and attachment therapy. And they had offered us speech therapy also at this same time. And I said, well, let's put it off until the end of July. She's talking pretty well. There's just a processing part of her brain that isn't able yet to answer questions. So that part where you have to listen to the question, which she understands, but to actually have then words come out to answer the question. She can answer yes, no, or if you give her a choice, she can say blue or red, but she can't give an answer yet. So that's the holdup yet with her language, but she's doing good. And yeah, so I think that all is in divine order. I think sometimes we get we get wanting something so much and so singly focused on, I'm bringing this in, that we miss the blessing. And I'm just looking at, and I know other people have said it to me, but I already am aware of it. I think this extra time that we're getting before the next child arrives, for Adelia to really have a lot of focus and attention on helping her to reset the poor programming in the brain that she was born with from brain trauma, is really important. It's a really important gift from God. And that these two children that we had in our lives energetically for the last year, really, we love them, and we acknowledge, and I acknowledge, I love them and acknowledge that that was what was meant to happen, that nothing happened that wasn't meant to happen, and that everything that is happening for good. So when we are looking into um, when we're looking into the idea of letting go of grief and letting go of sorrow and any kind of hang on stuff that is of low emotion, we want to begin to remember, who am I in my best life? Who am I when I'm being my best self? I want you to just take a moment to think about that. We did talk about this the other day in a training that I was doing, I think on Tuesday, Monday, I don't know, last week maybe. Last week it was. Who am I? So some of you might have heard this. Who am I as my best self? And then what is my best life? And I think as we start to look at letting go of, we look at opening to, oh, I remember, and opening the doorway to our best life and our best self. And finally, what are my core values? And am I living by those core values? And this morning, my project manager was commenting, because we are working on, in our team meetings, we're working on growth experiences too. And we were talking about technology and the invasion of technology, how it's become actually a psychological diagnosis of illness, is this problem of being on technology. The average person checks their iPhone 150 times a day, even when they're not getting a text or a phone. They haven't heard the phone going off in 10 minutes. They check to see, did I miss anything? And the idea of distraction. And she was saying that her core value is connecting with others. And that for her, so what is your core value? Hers was connecting with others. And I love that core value because it's always giving you an invitation to connect yet again. At the grocery store, having a lovely conversation with the teller, or the helper who's stocking, or at the gas station, somebody else filling with gas, and you have a laugh about something while the tanks are filling. Or, when you're getting your peanut butter bagel at church and everybody's standing around kind of in their little cliques, and it's an opportunity to speak and add joy and happiness. So looking at core values, what is your core value? I know mine is love, wisdom. And I can see that love, wisdom shared would even be more powerful for me. So rather than just love, wisdom in a stagnant place, but love, wisdom shared. So sharing connection, sharing the beauty and joy of love, wisdom with others, and receiving it. So receiving input and being receptive to partnering and sharing in all aspects with others who value love, wisdom. So that could be something of a core value. So I want you to maybe make a few notes as we're doing the side slide. Everybody's doing the side slide. Doing the just a little, maybe a little comment, mental note. Who am I when I'm my best self? What is my best life? And what are my core values? If you could distill it a little bit and bring it down. And then from there, I want you to think next about how technology may be holding you up from living your core values in your best life. So if you have a social media addiction, or you have an obsession or compulsion, which I think most people do. Do you check your phone before you go to bed at night? Do you check for emails before you go to bed at night? Do you sleep with your phone? Do you sleep with your computer? So many people sleep with it at the side of their bed or even on their bed. Do you sleep with it under your pillow? Is it, has it somehow taken the place or interfered with your love connections with others? Are you driving down the road? You're at a light and you're texting somebody rather than allowing your flow of thought to be present. So, like developing new concepts and ideas, going into the genius brain when you're driving, that can be a wonderful time for creation. I know when I'm driving, a lot of times it's not as often because I drive with Adelia's noise and music going, so it's harder. But I often have in the past, and do when she's not in the car, put on the dictation into my phone, and I just open the mail, and I put my email address on there, and then I might put like B or something, and then here I'm just flowing with ideas. So as I'm driving, I'm saying, send the helpful letter to so and so, and change the cover of the book, and then approve it for printing. And I'm in a flow of a productive mind where I'm looking at all the things that are waiting for me. See, so I'm just showing you that you can dictate, and all those words are going to go in. You can send yourself an email, and you don't have to be writing something down when you're driving. You can just actually set it to dictate. There's no app that actually just automatically does it. That was in my my email system. So you can just dictate it. You can do that with a text. You can dictate in a text also. And then I just dictate into my phone. So you just have to look. There's a little microphone down there. So the thing was, I was listening to a lecture this morning, and it turns out that every time we are distracted, it takes 22 and a half or 22 and a quarter minutes to get back in the flow, that divine flow. So to get back into a thought process, it takes that long to realign the brain. And so when we're checking technology every few minutes, we're interrupting this flow that we're meant to have with the brain. And if you're having challenges with memory, with follow through, and with momentum, being consistent, you really need to look at how much you're checking with technology. The average person checks their technology 150 times a day. So you can see that you never get that consistent flow. So one of the things that divine flow. We looked in the Silky Soft Dreams. We were looking at the activities before sleep. And if you're involved with technology and watching movies and things like that, you will never go into lucid dreaming. That lucid dreaming happens when you're not on technology. So the brain has to be set in such a way that you can create that kind of magic, that you're in the genius and flow. You're in the genius mindset or the genius brain. You're in the divine brain. So the hand movement goes like this. How is the hand movement works for me in group? Say helping us clearing, but our own clearing through hand movement depends only from me? Or can you help each one of us? How it depends from our own work with hand movement. You need to do your own hand movement, and I will make sure that it's effective, but you have to do it. So you can do this, or the inner thigh pump is the other one. So I'm not clearing everybody in the class. Everybody's clearing themselves, and I'm making sure that everybody's effective with clearing themselves. That's for Elena. Okay. All right. So I just wanted to share a few of those ideas with you. I want you to start thinking about that. Maybe that's homework for you this week is, who am I when I'm my best self? What is my best life? What are my core values? And then noticing how much you see if you can only check technology 10 times during the day, and see if you can stay focused on a task for an hour or more. Now, we have different setups with the brain, and I know a larger amount of our students are women, and women have dispersed brains, and men have single focused attention. So we do have like just difference with how we receive information. So it might even be even harder for women to accomplish this staying on task and staying focused. But I encourage you to try and to see how your productivity goes up, how your connectedness goes up. If you're on technology a lot during times that maybe would be designated for social or family times, then notice, are you connecting more with family? Are you making an outing with friends? Because you're finding, okay, I'm not going to be sitting there running through YouTube videos and checking on new Facebook, whatever images. I'm just going to do that once or twice a day. I'm going to do that at 9 and 4, and then I'm going to be done. You're plugging your phone in, your computer into the kitchen outlet instead of, or your office outlet instead of your bedroom outlet. I just want you to be thinking about how you could change that for yourself so that you had more of your own mindset and mindset mastery, so that your mind, your brain would work better for you. So, Growing Together is a full self expression program. It's about being your very, very best self. And that is definitely what we're working on. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at the chart, see how we're progressing. And then some additional comments had come in on, let's see, getting done. So I think I read Fatima's much easier time getting things done. And Anita, I have got some more energy and can concentrate a little more. Albert, I've noticed the last week that I am presented with many new opportunities than before. Beautiful. I've become more active in some way, improved problem solving, and wanting to nap more. Okay, that's Callie. I have also I am also taking more action and have been getting lots of new opportunities and ideas. That's from Linda. Beautiful. Everything goes much more with the flow in ease and grace. That's from Paula. And yes, the balance and consistency was a game changer for me. I'm now less affected by negative environments, feel more whole, centered, fortified, clear, big difference. I'm also am more aware of having more fun and balance and work and relaxation with family and friends. That's from Linda. And then thank you, Anelli. Beautiful, precious book. Yeah. And we have switched to the side slide. Oh, we switched a really long time ago, so maybe that didn't get switched on the chat. Well, we were only doing the drop for 7 minutes, so we've been doing the side slide for quite a while. Okay. I'm going to put on a little bit of music. We've got just a couple more minutes before we have our break. I'm going to put on Illumination and we'll keep pumping. Okay, I saw a comment from Thomas, one of our wonderful students, and I don't know, Thomas, if what your issue is your vision is going. Maybe because it says I can't see. And it's interesting because we actually made a decision this morning that we're going to do a study on vision. It's in Year of Miracles, and we'll be doing regeneration of the eyeballs, optic nerve, and visual cortex. We'll be working on all aspects of improving vision in September, and then we'll do a study, and that'll be, I think it's 120 days, so it'll be a 4-month study, which means we'll probably have two 30-minute tune-ups in bonus tune-ups for people who are in Year of Miracles. So it's coming up really soon, just a couple months away. September's Year of Miracles will be on restoring vision. So I'm not sure if that's the issue, Thomas, or if there's some other issue with having a hard time seeing. But I just want to address that I understand that that's a great need for a lot of people. We won't have as much of a focus, though I think we will do the extra tune-up on, like there are people who ongoingly are saying they have cataracts. There's kind of a list of things that people say that they'd like that are visual illnesses on the eyeball typically. Sometimes it's optic nerve, sometimes it's fluid. So we'll probably do some extra clearings. That's my anticipated notion. The brain study is just about ready to be published for those of you who are participated in the brain study. So just keep your eye out, probably be announced in 7 to 10 days. I will be doing a media tour with that, but it'll be, I won't be traveling around so much. I think I have a PBS gig that I'm doing in New Mexico, so I'm going to do a series of 4 interviews with PBS on the Creative Living Show, which is the longest running show on television. It's 41 years it's been running. So I have 4 9-minute segments that she's going to film with me that'll be played through the fall. So the brain study with Year of Miracles is coming out. And what we look at is we're looking at a 15 to a 35% improvement for people who participated in the brain study in different areas of the brain. So with sleep and memory, speech, and reduction or elimination of headaches. So we had some really nice results. We'll be publishing that, so you all will be able to have a look at that. It'll go out to the media, which will be radio, podcasts, summits, and all of the audio things and TV. And then it will go out also in a press release to all the printed media. So it should make a nice splash. And of course, we'll be doing that also, a nice big splash in social media. We'll follow up with that in a few months. I'm waiting there. They've got some problem distilling some of the information. So they're figuring out how to distill the information we gathered on vitality. We did a study, a 90-day study, for those of you who participated in that, on dynamism and dynamic energy. And that was really to help open doorways potentially for virtual reality. So how we increase dynamic energy with guided imagery. And so that one will be coming out probably late fall. It takes a while to get all the materials together. And then we'll be beginning to gather information and working very hard at improving vision for every single person. I wore glasses from 18 to 46 and regenerated my vision. The doctor couldn't believe it because at 46, he said, this never happens, that vision improves. But sure enough, my vision had improved and continues to be wonderful. I don't need glasses. I don't need glasses for driving. I'm 62 and I have really, really excellent vision. You can always have better. I'm happy to work on my vision more and always keep it set at a high place. My birth children, I have 3 grown birth children. They all wear glasses. When I think kind of across the board, brothers and sisters and parents, everybody wears glasses. So it's in the DNA, it's in the bloodline, and it's not part of me. It's not part of my experience. So I just want you to know that that's something that's coming up, and if that's something that you want to work on, Year of Miracles is fantastic. And we're going to really, really focus in on fantastic results for everybody. You want to be part of that study, you can let us know when we send out the first invitation. And then if you were on a fixed income, you're a senior citizen and you're on like a low retirement income, sometimes we're able to make a different tuition for you. That's in a case, a one-by-one case. But if it's something that you're thinking about, and oh gosh, that would be amazing, please inquire, ask. It's a great program. It's a great tuition. It's not pricey at all. It's really wonderful for 36 hours of regeneration. Basically, you're regenerating the body from head to toe in 36 hours. And we're seeing a 15 to 35% improvement in one area. And you think about doing that consistently over a few years, you can really, really grow younger. Elena, one of the things I'm wondering about for you is, are you doing the daily meditations? And are you drinking water? Because your regeneration, when I test you, Elena, you're testing at 60% on the regeneration. So there's something off. Okay. So you have to do the daily meditations, and you have to drink half your body weight in water every day. So we talked about that during the regeneration, and it was very, very important to do the meditations after. So yes, do the brain regeneration again and reset yourself, and then you have to do the daily meditations. What about the replay? The replay is there for you. In your member site, I'm surprised that you're saying, where do I get the daily meditations or the meditations? You have meditations that are given to you for every single class. So I'm not sure if you're just not going in to look at your member site, because we give you the replay, the audio, your charts, and your meditations for every class. And many classes have written material that you can read also that are very helpful supports. But I'm glad you're asking the question, because obviously you don't know. So that is how you get that. If you're in Year of Miracles, you're getting quite a few meditations during the year. So every class, you're getting meditations. It doesn't matter which meditation, it matters that you're in the quantum field of transformation for 30 minutes. 30 minutes every day. And it is not, taking a class isn't, it's good, but it's not the thing that's getting you into the field of transformation. So that deep, relaxed meditation space for 30 minutes. We have over like 190 meditations. There were 187, but I've added a few, so about 190 meditations. If you don't like the ones we give you, you can go on the site and buy a couple. Just pick out something that, oh my God, I'm going to love this. There's even one of the meditations is a love walking meditation. It's wonderful. So you can get yourself into the field of transformation while doing a hike. Just put one earphone in, have the other ear listening to the birds in nature, and have one listening to my voice as you're moving along, expanding love and connection. Oh, good, Carolyn. Yeah, it's coming together. The deadline was this week for me to get it into the media people. We have a PR person who's going to do a big blast and book me on 50 to 100 shows over 4 to 5 months. And so I'm working really hard at pulling everything together. This afternoon, I'll be working pretty consistently through the day. I've got 2 other things I have to deal with, but probably at least 4 hours on it, and hoping that we've got it pretty well pulled together. It's amazing. I actually think it'll be really helpful for everybody because it goes through all the steps and what's required and why it's important to meditate, why it's important to drink water, why we do the steps that we do to do the regeneration. I think it's going to be very eye-opening for people. Just poured myself a glass. Good girl. Taking a break. Oh, thank you. See, where I was ready to take a break at 11:50. I kept looking. It wasn't moving. It wasn't moving. Now it's 12:07. Okay, we'll take a 5-minute break and we'll come back. And I'm really glad, though, that we had this conversation about regeneration and your miracles and vision coming up and the brain. And I'm really, really delighted that we've had this conversation. So we didn't go off on a wrong path. We did good. I'm going to put up the chart, take 5 minutes, stretch, use the bathroom, get a drink of water, jump around, go outside for a few minutes and breathe the fresh air. And we'll see you back here in 5 minutes. Here's a quick peek at the section I'm going to be working on today, but you can see what we had here. Memory increase 25.53% improved. The area of vibrancy versus depression 36.68% improved, meaning people felt much happier, were not depressed. Brain relaxed versus severe headaches 18.88% improved. Now that's not everybody has headaches, so we had to look at also if that was even an issue, because a lot of people don't necessarily have headaches. Sleep improved 33.33%. Area of speech improvement was 15.57%. That's not everybody has that issue either. Drinking water, exercise, meditation. So that's section 3. So got really a beautiful presentation to present to the world. It's coming together really nicely. There's going to be about 20 pages of information on the study. Okay, and we're continuing on here with side slide, and actually we're probably going to be shifting to platter now. Actually, everybody shift to platter. So I'm going to put myself back on the screen. I don't think I'm there yet. There I am. And platter, again, hand facing out and twisting. So moving to platter, please, everyone. Beautiful, Elena. Growing back some molars or parts of molars. It's so funny. I was thinking about that the other day. I was thinking about teeth. And I'm 62, and I have 12 fillings in my mouth. I've got no new fillings. I don't, those cavities. My mom thought that we would get sick or be a diabetic if we didn't eat sugar. So she gave us sugar every meal. She was just convinced. She just didn't understand nutrition at all. My mom was silly some ways. And so I got the cavities when I was a kid and haven't gotten any cavities as an adult. But I think, well, at some point my teeth will wear out, I would assume. I don't know if that's true. Maybe they can just keep regenerating and I can keep them for a few hundred years. But I am planning to live a very long time. And I know the second set of teeth is set to come in at 105, about 105. So I was thinking about that. What would that feel like to have, the teeth that have been in your mouth for, say, 100 years of your life, because you get the big teeth starting at like 5 and 6, I think. And what would that feel like to have those teeth fall out and beautiful new white teeth to come in? So we do the teeth regeneration over and over. We've done it in our Growing Younger program that we typically are doing in January. And we'll see, we've been doing different versions of it, but that is a whole class. There's a whole class dedicated just to improving and regenerating the teeth, which is, it's a nice focus for those of you who would like to improve that, and even have given some techniques on keeping the gums healthy and how to have the teeth whiten up. A lot of people have used those techniques successfully, so that's a wonderful training to dip in on. I had mercury fillings removed, and those new fillings have subsequently worn out. Would appreciate prayer and support on these. Oh, okay. And then, you can start, if they're wearing out, you can start with the techniques of growing your teeth back. And so as those old fillings might fall out or whatever they're doing, you want to have your teeth growing back. There is a frequency for teeth regeneration, as I have it in a system I purchased when I studied abroad. I don't know, we have very successful teeth regeneration with our program. I don't know about anybody else's programs. Did previous year of Year Miracles discount version, probably Vision, lost a lot of access time while in the hospital, and now it seems I will no longer be able to access my user site or further programs or catch or miss programs. Thomas, you will always have access to your previous programs. But if they were prior to when about a year ago, we made a switch so that we were able to put everybody's Year of Miracles into their member site. We didn't have a way to do it prior to that because it's a 12-month program. People are joining at different times of the year, but we figured it out. If it's something prior to 12 months ago, we can put that in your member site. We can get that to you. So you just have to let support know. And then, by the way, after you've been a member of Year of Miracles for 12 months, you get a very discounted second, third, fourth year, really unexpectedly low. So it's essentially the second year is like less than a very, very cheap cup of coffee every day. So, I just encourage you, if you've done 1 year and you think, no, I can't do it anymore because I can't afford it, don't think in that way. Open up the emails and be shocked and surprised, in awe, to see that your subsequent years are extremely reduced. So it's a really incredible deal because we want you to keep going. If you get a 15 to 35% improvement in any area that you're working on, if you imagine staying with it for 3 or 4 or 5 years, you're going to be very much younger, healthier, happier over time, and you're certainly not going to be kicking in on the aging stuff like other people around you are. So you want to try to stay in the program and keep working on yourself. Yeah, Kelly, you've gotten a good result. But you can always do more. So I think you're in the 40% range, which is really good. You probably are really noticing it. But it never hurts to do a second one. And we recommend that you wait the full 180 days before you do it again. So if you've just done it a month or so ago, but you might not have. So we wait 180 days before you do it again. Ilme is asking about a new set of teeth at 105. That's what I've heard from others, that our body is set to grow new teeth at around 105. So we would just grow in a new set of teeth. And we were planning to live a long life. I looked for a discount for year 2 of Miracles, but did not find it. Only the link for the full price first year. Well, we will get that to you immediately, Albert. It's extremely discounted. You'll be thrilled. What I meant is I can't see the website through macular and cardiac and other. Okay, Thomas. So that is a vision issue. So we need to, and I'm happy to help you get into the classes you need to work on your vision. I think that would be great. The last time I did the brain regeneration program was last summer. Yeah, so you would want to repeat it. And Callie, if you were one of the people who were in Year of Miracles and then just didn't sign up for the second year, let us know because we can get you that link, and you'll be really happy. I think you're going to be really, really happy with what you see. Okay. All right. So a reminder for those of you who would like to go into overcoming fear and anxiety. My project manager had a nice idea. She said, for all of you who are working today diligently and fear and anxiety are also a problem, why don't we give you a reward? So it's a 2-part class. It's 1 hour 1 week and another hour a second week. It's coming up pretty soon. We haven't promoted it at all, so you haven't seen an invitation for it yet. Overcoming Fear and Anxiety. And we're going to just offer it today only for half price. It is not going out to anybody for half price. So if you don't take advantage of it, it's okay, but it won't go out as a half price opportunity just today, just for you guys. And you can thank my project manager, Kim, for that. She thought of it, and I thought, that's so thoughtful. I think that would be a beautiful gift to give you guys who are working so diligently today on living your best life, in joy, and really grace, and celebrating life, and letting go of grief and sorrow and those kind of things. Sometimes it's 49. It's half price, 49. Yeah, sometimes in addition to grief, we have anxiety or we have fear, and those are additional low emotions that we'll be tackling 1 hour and 1 hour. So it's two separate weeks, $49 for the total. It's on the website, I think, for $99. But today only, through midnight today, we're just giving it to you as a gift. We can thank Kim DeYoung. She's our project manager, and she wanted you guys to have that, and I thought that was wonderful. She's been coming up with some fun ideas for you that, it's like, you're right, that does make sense. Wonderful, Melissa. Would my taking fear and anxiety class help my daughter who suffers in both areas? I think, Susan, if you signed up for her to take it, even if you did it for her, you'd have to get permission for her. But you taking it isn't going to help her. You taking it and signing her up too would help her. Because if you're pumping for both of you, that would be how it would help her. And then the answer is yes. Oh, you're welcome. You're very welcome, Carol. Albert, it would be helpful. It comes in over 80%. I would say my testing for should I take this or not take this, 80% is pretty strong, yes. 70% for me, anything over 70% I do as kind of a policy. But when it's 80%, I take it. So up to you if you feel it internally, but I get a yes. And you're welcome from John. Do we need a special link for that? You do need a link for the discount. Todd, put it up one more time. Would it benefit me? And that's from Lori. Yes. 92% yes. So yes, that's very good. And Joyce, see the link below from support at half off. And Todd's just popped it back up there. So just another thing we can do. I think we've been just looking at different ways to give you some less low tuition things to help you fortify yourself. Because one of the things I learned recently is that when we're all over the board with our emotions, we just aren't as productive. We're not getting our blessing out in the world, are we? And so I was looking at how the dip, like the reason that the brain study isn't out yet is because I went through a great deal of sorrow and grief, losing Virgil, and that's natural. That's a normal thing. But I've been kind of on an up and down and up and down, and I keep resetting myself and going up and down and up and down, and having 2 adoptions fail in 1 year, and Adelia's behavioral challenges being kind of larger than life. I've been like this. And what I know is if you're in survival and emotional brain, and you're in these lower emotions a lot of the time, you're just not able to be consistent. You're not able to have your momentum and your clarity and your focus. And that's one of the things that I'm really working on. I think that we should, this work should be on Oprah, and I think it should be on PBS, and what a blessing that we are going on PBS. And I think it should be in Success Magazine. And I think we should have people like Dr. Oz recommending our work. And I think that this kind of a thing where it's up and down and up and down and up and down. It's just you have to be on this trajectory of like this. And yes, we are always steadily doing beautiful things, but it's about being in your sage mind, your sage brain much of the time, your wise elder love wisdom brain much of the time. And if you're in survival emotions up and down and up and down and up and down, or mostly down and sometimes up, you can't have a consistent presence and a consistent authority. And it must feel, to me, it feels kind of schizophrenic. It's up and down and up and down and up and down. I always felt like people always compliment me. I have a voice that is steady and soothing and calm. It sets a calibration that people feel safe around me. And still, I've been in, a lot of survival with my daughter and the losses of the children. So I've been looking at how do I most consistently stay there? And that's one of the reasons I brought up technology to you this morning. And who are you when you're being your best self? And if you can imagine it as you have this survival brain, this reptilian brain, who's really just keeping you alive, and you're making abrupt, quick decisions about that's going to keep me alive, that's going to keep me alive, that's going to keep me alive. And you're in it when you're under a lot of duress or stress. So maybe you haven't had enough time to meditate, or there's been something physically in your life that's happened. For me, Adelia is constantly, the OT therapist described it for me, so I understood it. I have to calibrate myself and Adelia. And Adelia asks every 45 seconds to 2 minutes for something. Look at me, mommy. I want food. I want oatmeal. I want a hot dog. I want you to jump up and down. I want a cookie. And she throws herself on the ground and screaming. And it doesn't stop. And whenever I'm with Adelia, there was a steady stream of I want, I want, I want, I want, I want, which was getting me into the survival brain because I was feeling so like I don't know how to respond to it. So I am doing the behavioral therapy and the attachment therapy and the occupational therapy right along with Adelia. So I'm listening to how do you respond when a child every 45 seconds to 2 minutes is saying, I need something. And there's a whole methodology to helping her rewire her brain so she can have delayed gratification so that she'll be okay, that there's not going to be a spin out or a tantrum. Or like yesterday, she kicked me in the face because she didn't get what she wanted, which was she wanted oatmeal right now. And I was just waking up and she got on the bed and kicked me in the face. And, it's just like, so that's the survival brain. So I want you to know that I'm in there in the trenches with you, looking at consistently moving up, bringing this beautiful work on a much higher level out to the world. And when you think, okay, so we got that reptilian brain, and I've just described how that works for me, and you need to think about how that's working for you. How often are you in the, oh my God, I just got kicked in the face? Probably, hopefully, none of you are getting kicked in the face, but something is happening. So you're in your survival brain or the emotional brain. It's like, how do I feel about it? Then afterwards, I had a kind of a challenging day yesterday where Adelia had kicked me in the face and hit me about 20 times. And it was too much. It was too much. And so I was in this emotion and I was like, okay, how can I reset? And my reset was because I did not want to go into another day feeling like, hanging in the emotional brain, your body and your mind. There's something about will, but there's something about just being in charge of and on top of things. I went and got a massage and then picked up Adelia. She did her thing. And I said, we're not doing this anymore. Any bad behavior and you are having a timeout or you're having a consequence of something being taken away. And that is that. We're not doing it anymore. She was really, And I had a talk with her this morning too about she had a timeout. She hit me twice and she had a timeout on a chair for the first time in her life by herself, just like shocked that mommy is, that's it. But if you're in the meaning-making emotions of I feel sad, this isn't what I expected, this isn't how I expected life to be, and I'm looking at, well, how do I course correct with Adelia? It might be a few months. We have all kinds of therapy we're doing and recalibrating her, setting her in a place where she's loving. We did something really beautiful this morning. I said to Delia, I want you to think about being kind to people. Now, one of the things you could do is bring a flower to one of your teachers. You could draw something for one of your friends. You could do, but our value in our family is being kind and loving to others. So she said she wanted to bring a pink flower to Miss Rena. So I went out into the garden and I cut a small pink rose for her and wrapped it up in this pretty flower paper. And Adelia carried it in and gave it to Miss Rena. And she's learning how, and I'm helping her change. But this is also helping me change because I want to stay in my wise elder love brain. I don't want to be slugging it out, sloshing it out in the reptilian brain and then just all over the board with my emotions. And for me, it's so funny because I don't think that I am all over the board with my emotions, but with a little girl who is going from, she's kind of a Dr. Jekyll and Hyde. She's so sweet and adorable, and she can be a little monster like a minute later, and you don't even know it's coming. And all of a sudden, she's bit you in the leg really hard, and you're like, "Oh my God!" Or she's given me a black eye twice. So, I'm just looking at how do I get through that with grace through the months of therapy and make sure that we're both okay as we're going through that. And then more than just okay, not in survival brain and not in just the up and down emotional brain, but the joy brain and the sage brain, the effective brain. And I think also when you've been in the reptilian brain, that can also have you jumping into needing people to communicate with you. Like, okay, did anyone send me an email? Did I get some social media hits? Do I need to look at YouTube? Like whatever. So that unplugging from that so you can stay in your love wisdom brain, which doesn't mean that you don't want to have long conversations with your friends or short conversations with your friends that are supportive and you can air your feelings. But it does mean that you don't sit in the belief that you're helpless and that you need to stay in the survival brain or the up and down emotions, the low emotions. Let's see. Here is the chart again, and let's just double check. We're still doing platter. Gosh, we have about 30 minutes, so we're probably going to finish a few minutes after the class has completed. About 30 more minutes on platter, everyone. Let's see. Monica. Hi, this is Monica. Could you please test if this class is good for me? Yes. For Monica, it's 100% good. And Lori signed up good. And Susan signed her up good. And Mina says, thank you for the offer. And did I get everybody up? I did. Oh, no, I didn't get everybody. I see this, Jennifer. On grief and sorrow, we are getting ready to let our elderly dog transition, but that is facilitated. Feeling of shame, sadness, anger are coming up for the family. Losing her does cause, at least for me, a physical pain. But when her spirit is released to be able to pursue her light, reassures me at the same time. She was a great service to us, and for sure it feels selfish to force her to live a life that is completely undignified for her. Have you set up a little altar for your loved ones? No, we haven't. We've done other things, though, to honor the children that we've lost, the children that we've lost. So that would be lovely. I think that the other thing, Jennifer, is you might also have the notion, because I hear this all the time, that you can have an intention that she reincarnate and come back to your family in the next couple of years. I've seen that many times with pet owners, that their pet transitions and comes back as a baby, a puppy. Okay. Elena from Siberia, yes, definitely. Catherine signed up. Carol signed up. Cheryl with it, but Shirley, Yes, yes, 100% for Shirley. Okay, I think that's got everybody below. Enabling that safe voice helps switch people from their fear brains. That allows natural healing to occur. That is the basis for the placebo effect, which is perfectly reflected in the results of your study. Amen to that. Um, well, and I don't think it's just a placebo effect in the study. Actually, I think it's the regeneration of the brain. But yeah, it does help. I wonder what percentage the class on fear and anxiety would benefit me. I wonder about doubt may be part of that. Yeah, 100% for you, and doubt is part of that, Callie, 100%. I wonder if if a little Reiki would help your lovely reptilian daughter. I don't think so. I don't get a yes on that one. This class is so good for me today. Thank you, Diane B. Adelia is getting all the activations that we're doing. She needs some rewiring, and we're doing some serious rewiring is what we're doing. Is she engaged with any physical goal-oriented training? Yes, she is, Jennifer. She's currently in ballet, and then I paid for extra dance lessons in her school, so a dance teacher comes into the school and teaches her too. But when we aren't doing 3 or 4 therapies a week, I'll be getting her into a gymnastics program along with her ballet. At least you have some goal-related physical training. Okay. Yeah. How is my amplification? And then also Jennifer, she has 3 hours of play activities, structured play activities at school every Monday through Friday. Jan, how is my amplification field as I don't feel classes much? 70%, Jan. I also don't feel much, so I'm not sure how much I benefit from classes. I'm trusting. Mina, you're benefiting 98% from the classes. Callie signed up, good. I am quite sure that my dog Chloe did reincarnate from me already, and she'll do it again, Jennifer. So I think if you can take that attitude, you're letting go of the body so she can get a healthy body. I can recommend books by The Art of Saying No with Clear Conscious. It's loving way to having the child cooperate. Yeah, she doesn't have a normal brain, Cora. She has a drug exposed trauma from her utero. So it's not the same. I just signed up for the class. Good, Shirley. Dear Julie, what just came to me regarding your understanding of the brains and the challenging experience with Adelia is that your experiences with this difficulty is allowing you to come to really good and true wisdom regarding the brain, which is so good for all of us because you are sharing it with us so we can learn and improve. Much love and gratitude to you and deep compassion for your having the challenge with your goodness in helping Adelia is truly ultimate love. Thank you, Roma. And I think that it was puzzling to me because her brain isn't wired as you would expect a human's brain to be wired. And so what I'm learning by like I went to occupational therapy without her this week and next week I'll have it because I'm getting trained. I've gone to successfully raising at-risk kids. These are drug exposed um, children who got drugs in utero, and I had a 12-hour training on that. I'm starting to work with the attachment therapist. She'll be working with both of us, but she wants to do private trainings with me. I think all of that is adding to a wisdom and understanding of what's possible when something in the wiring goes wrong in the brain and how rewiring can take place. Because the thing is, I think we need to know that the brain is pliable and that we can, if with skill, we can rewire the responses and we can have the brain perform well for us and the emotions perform well for us. And we're in a process and at the beginning of a process of rewiring the poor, like Adelia's had her brain regenerated. That's beautiful. And she's very smart. She is really brilliant. She strategizes all kinds. I'd say that she's kind of diabolical. So she's brilliant, and yet there's a great frustration going on with her, and somewhere rage. And she was also, both parents were rageaholics. Both birth parents were rageaholics, and so she was exposed to that, not being wanted, being referred to as a stinky tumor, and they said all kinds of nasty things about her while she was in utero. So I, just really am working on helping her to, clear those negative things, and then also to rewire the brain so it works. So it works at her command in wonderful ways. So she's so powerful. She's definitely an alpha. And, I talk about the challenges, but, I also witnessed Adelia, like when I took her into her class at 10:20 or something. We were late for school, and because we had a dental appointment. And Adelia comes into the room, and three kids shout, "Adelia's here!" And they are happy. They throw their hands up in the air, and then they run over and knock her over. They all hug her, and they all fall down together. All three of the kids, or four of the kids, Adelia and the three other kids, fall down with laughter because Adelia's the fun one. She's like the one that plays with everybody, and she's learning too. I mean, what she does to connect with kids, because she can't have long conversations, she can't answer questions. She can tell them what she wants or what she's thinking, but she can't respond if they ask questions. So the conversations are a little bit different. But she mimics. She follows kids around the play yard, and she echoes what they're doing, and makes friendships and relationships by echoing what other kids are doing. And she's very gifted. She's very powerful, and I can see that she's a leader, and that she came with a great deal of power. And these challenges for her are probably shaping and molding her into an amazing child. Elena, I can benefit from classes from some time, then it's gone. Why is it? It would likely be that you haven't cleared all the spiritual interferences. Is that it? And entitlements. Elena, have you taken the entitlements class? Entitlements seems like. And then the class, she's saying, when is the class? It's coming up in a couple weeks. Um, if you just click on the link, you can see the date. My two girls who are also adopted, Mina. I took care of a young woman who is drug addicted. We did clearing synapses and receptors in a postsynaptic side. Interesting. Perhaps you'll test for whether pranic healing can help remove some of the effects of Adelia's prenatal experiences. Not very much, Elena, like 7%. Well, if you've taken entitlements, I would take it again because you're not clear of entitlements. That's for Elena. July 18th and 25th are the fear and anxiety, overcoming fear and anxiety. Okay, let's check and see where we're at. We're at 86% clear. Thank you all for your recommendations. The therapists also give me reading assignments based on the specific diagnosis. And Adelia is not quite in the spectrum of autism, though they they talk about children in the spectrum of autism. And the early diagnosis they gave was, uh, let's see, reactive attachment disorder, but have refined it to traumatic brain, uh, traumatic brain, intrauteral traumatic brain, something like that, intrauterine traumatic brain issues. So they've kind of refined it, sensory and impulse disorders with some unique processing issues. So that's what they've got it down to now. Yeah, so it's good. I'm learning a lot, and it's interesting because people, a lot of times being helpful, trying to be helpful, have said, "Oh, can you read this book or that book?" But if your brain isn't working like, like it's people will kind of compare it. Oh yeah, my kid has ADD too, and it's not like that. It's like there's something that isn't. It's different than that. I don't know how to say it any other way. It's different. So. And you have to also remember when you have a special needs child, actually reading is something that I do. I do read, but it's really hard to squeeze the time in because there's somebody asking you every 45 seconds for attention. So the reading, I can get like a chapter a week or 2 chapters a week done of a book. So this is just a phase in life. This too shall pass. Superhighways and other are like dirt paths. Jennifer, you are right. See the second chart? Sure. Second page. So right now, for those of you who are making book recommendations, I have about 17 books that I've bought that I think, oh, this would help me. Oh, this would help me. So I actually have quite a few books. I currently am reading 3 books. But I imagine that given the pace of my reading, given all that I have on my plate with managing all the driving I do for therapies and school, running the company, it might take 2 years to get through the 17 books I've already purchased. I don't know. Something might change. I think I did many years ago, I used to do speed reading. It's not enjoyable to me, but it's you get a lot done. So I might start activating my skill of speed reading. I kind of like to lollygag in books and contemplate and think about, and I wonder what that means rather than just to kind of fly through the pages. Do any of you do speed reading? I used to actually, I don't know, when I was right out of school, I sold speed reading. Actually, it wasn't even, yeah, right out of college, like in my 20s. I sold speed reading courses for like six months. I traveled around and they were educational programs for speed reading. Did anybody do speed reading? Or does speed reading? Hi, Joyce. Thank you. I find it much easier listening to audiobooks over reading. The drugs suppress normal brain development, so some brain neuron connections could be missing. Albert, I'm sure that's true, but I know for sure that they have said that her wiring just isn't normal in some areas. It's just, falls in a different category than what we would anticipate. So, yeah. Photo reading. There's a link to sign up for the discounted price over. Oh, it's back in the chat box again. I used to do speed reading for medical journals. I really love to savor a great book. That's me, Jennifer. If I'm going to take time to enjoy a book, speed reading, you're just consuming it. I used to do that on airplanes because I traveled I used to travel and speak, and I changed my life. That's why the Academy exists. I stopped traveling to all these different business events around the country, and I started doing an online academy so I could have children. And but I would speed read on a plane, and people would watch me, and I would be through a page in 20 seconds. I mean, it would even faster. I would just kind of my hand would go down the page. I'd just have a finger go down the page, and they go, "You're kidding! You read that whole book in like 30 minutes." And I'm like, "Yep." But I would read content, but it was like I like to I don't know, I like to savor. And reading is very good because it's activating, it's working on different parts of the brain than listening. So reading is causing, the brilliance in your mind, the logic. Reading activates, I think, the same area that's mathematics and logic. I think it's really good. So it's a different kind of language than listening, which we do a lot of listening. You're talking to and interacting and listening with people all the time. But to actually sit and read for an hour or two, it's very, very good for brain health. Hmm. Yeah, I guess they don't even, I don't know about Dr. Amen, but I had asked her doctor a year ago twice. I was sure there was something wrong with Adelia's brain, and could we have a neurological examination? Like they wouldn't do a brain scan until they get over 3. They just said we just won't do it until they're over 3. So she'll be 3 in October, and I'm less on that track now. I'm more interested in helping her to rewire the poor programming than to get more diagnosis. They've done a lot of diagnosing. Huh, interesting, Albert. Well, just a few minutes ago, we were at 86%, Mina. You might not have heard me, but let's see. 90, we're at 90% now. So a few minutes later, we're at 90%. Yeah, we're probably not going to do any more Imona, but thank you. We've already got 3 therapists on board, and we've got a plan in action that we're doing. I'm not going to switch to another plan. So we've got something going where we're getting help on a regular basis, and I do see some improvements. But I appreciate that you have that recommendation, and but we really do have a plan in place that we are working. I'm a slow reader. I've tried to read. I've tried P reading, but have challenges with concentrate to that too. I might try again. Speaking of the brain scans, have you ever heard of Dr. Amen with Amen Clinics? Yes, Kelly, it's been mentioned multiple times. And actually, one of the things I'm considering to make maybe headway with Dr. Amen is he has a brain coach training, a brain coaches training. And I thought I might do that and then approach him as a student of his, saying, look, I do work in the brain in a different way, and I've studied your work. I think it's 48 hours of video training. It's a lot of training. So it'd probably take me 6 months to get through if I don't know how I would do it with all of what I got on my plate now. But I was looking at his brain coaches training. Doesn't have anything to do with what we do with the brain. It has to do with nutrition and mindset, and it's good. It's very good. And I'd like to make headway with some of these guys who are known to be brain experts. So that was one thing that I was considering just in the last few months. Okay, so we are quickly approaching the end of class, 94% clear, and looks like we keep going till 7 minutes after, and this chart will be completely clear, which is fantastic. I think it's been a wonderful conversation. We started out just to remind you, you've got some homework. Who am I when I'm my best self? So I want you to be thinking about that, make some notes and journal about it, really ponder that. What is my best life? And what are my core values? So those are 3 pieces of information I want you to work on for yourself. They're going to help you to be a stronger presence in the world. And then the other question is, what effect am I a person who I'm checking my technology 150 times a day, because that's the average person. And if I'm really committed to getting my work in the world or bringing my blessing into the world, what changes I need to make. So first you're an observer and you watch and you kind of register, oh gosh, I checked my cell phone 6 times in the last 30 minutes. So you want to watch that and then start making changes. So you have focused periods of time where you're not looking at email. Maybe you check your email twice a day or 4 times a day if it's your work. Maybe you check social media twice a day at 9 o'clock in the morning and 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So I want you to be thinking about that too. So you do have a little bit of homework to do. One more time, overcoming fear and anxiety is half price just today, just for you guys. It's not going to come out as a half price link anywhere else. So grab it out of the chat box. If you're thinking about it, we're not going to be sending out a link for everybody. So, and if you're watching the replay later today, you can contact support and they can provide that for you. But it's not a thing that we're doing with everybody. It's just you guys. It's just Growing Together community that's getting the opportunity to come to Overcoming Fear and Anxiety for half price, a 2-part class that should be amazing. So thank you so much. I want you to keep doing the platter. Again, this is moving stuck energy. I think you should be feeling uplifted and lighter. We had a wonderful conversation, lots of things we're thinking about and percolating on, lots of conversations about the brain. Remember that if vision is your issue, you want to try and get into Year of Miracles. So that's coming up in September. We got a lot of wonderful classes coming up. Happy holidays, everybody. Happy 4th of July. And we'll see you really soon. Bye-bye for now.
Prophecy. This is a training to educate you and help you clear prophecy as a problem in your space. Now, there are 16 types of prophecy. We've known about them for about a year, and this is the first time we're actually going to be able to have the time to look at, understand, and clear the problems. So we've never defined them before. There'll be a really fantastic chart, really mapping out how prophecy came to be, each one, how it controls in your space, what it takes away from, suppresses, dominates you, whatever that is, whatever that prophecy is doing in your space. And then we're going to be removing them one by one. So it's going to be an amazing class. I'm looking forward to it. And all you need to do is enroll in the clicking the link below and get yourself started. Okay, we'll see you in class. Sleep invaders is an ongoing problem for a lot of people. Now, even if you've gone through the trilogy, you've done demons and aliens, and you've done waves, transmissions, and frequencies, I do recommend that you do the Sleep Invaders class. We're going to be approaching this a little bit differently than we did last year, which was such an eye-opener. We're going to be working with what is happening when your sleep is being invaded, when your energy is being harvested. And we're going to be looking at about 20 different issues that happen from invasion during sleep. We're going to be unhooking the anchors from all of the spiritual interferences. So everything that we've got listed, from demons and aliens and angels and humanoids, everything that's on our chart. We're going to be covering everything. And we're going to be looking at how they're able to steal your energy, or steal your life force, or steal light of cell, or whatever it is that they're doing in invading your information and your intelligence, all of that. Maybe you're waking up tired. So we're going to be approaching it in a new way this year. We're going to be looking at the aspects of what's happening and clearing those aspects from your physical body and from your sleep state. And this is a time when your spirit is resting. So it's off, relaxed and resting. And this is a time so that you're not on guard. You want these anchors, these access points removed, because you're not there protecting your body. And even though we're working on that in our trainings, we also want to make sure that there is no access of any kind for us. A lot of cross-dimensionals that are doing this stuff, that we clear their access points so they stop removing, causing rapid aging, all the things that they're doing, removing our life force, all of that stuff. So it's a very, very important class. I hope to see you in it. Hi, I want to talk to you for just a minute about overcoming fear and anxiety. And this was quite an issue for me in my early life and in my middle years. I felt very overwhelmed with anxiety. I was afraid of life, afraid of everything. And I had panic attacks. I was on medication for 3 years for anxiety, extreme anxiety. And I overcame that. And part of that was clearing away all the energies around maybe spiritual interferences and projected energies in my space, like control energy. And over time, I developed a very confident and competent nature. Overcoming fear and anxiety begins with you. And we start with really just clearing the foundations of fear and anxiety. A lot of times that's spiritual interferences. And begin to look at who you are as a competent, loving individual. We do some reframing of why you're here and why you are maybe out in public. And so we look more towards contribution than emphasizing attention to yourself. And that's part of anxiety, is just like you feel like you're in a bubble of personal overwhelm. And we begin to have you feel more confident and stronger in your body, stronger related to your body, so that you can stand firm and then be a contribution when you're out in the world. First time we're doing this class, Overcoming Fear and Anxiety. It is a student-requested class. It's something near and dear to my heart. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the chat box. I've got a really powerful class for those of you who are struggling with some kind of addiction, obsession, compulsion issue. And that is overcoming addictions. And we do it every year. People get miraculous results. I want you to look below the video and notice the comments that people are making. This is not just for alcohol and drugs and cigarettes. This is also for sugar and bad habits, internet addictions, social media addictions, pornography addictions. It covers everything. And so we're going through and we're doing a deep dive, clear out for you on those things, even TV addiction, on all those things that prevent you from being in charge of you. Okay, see you. Just click the link below and we'll see you in class. We'll get that addiction that you've been struggling with handled. We're doing an advanced entitlements class. how to remove entitlements and get free. It's basically Something's Got a Hold on Me, the advanced version of it, 401. We're going to be working for 3 hours straight on one day. It's going to be a get it all in and understood, and we'll be doing clearings on that day. You'll likely have homework. This is entitlements, like family entitlement for me was like 20 hours for me, and I do the blasting, so you'll likely have homework. But we're going to go through each one individually. You're going to understand them, and we're going to get a good start on them. And you'll see where others have control in your life, why they do, whether it's financial or soul family or birth family or your spousal entitlements. And so you'll understand it, and you'll begin to clear it. You'll have the right clearing techniques, the right hand movements, and a good idea of what kind of clearings are going to create what kind of freedom for you. So we've done this. We did this last year. It was fantastic. We're going again this year, deep dive. I'm sure that we'll get some new approaches and new information. We did get one new entitlement. A past life entitlement showed up. So we've got one new thing on our list. And looking forward to seeing you in class and continuing on our ongoing quest to be ourself, be fully ourself in our body without the entitlement energy that changes who we are and changes our result, usually lessening who we are and lessening our result. All right, well, all you need to do is click the box below and enroll, and we'll be working very hard in our 3-hour class. It's going to be fun, I promise, but we're going to be pumping away like crazy. I'm going to be blasting for you the whole time to get a good jump start on entitlements. Well, it's time once again for your Goddess Rejuvenation course. Goddess Rejuvenation, we've called other more technical names in the past, but honestly what we're doing is we're waking up, cleansing, purifying the beautiful part of you that's juicy and sexy and luscious and may have gotten a little beaten down or worn out a little bit and needs a refresh. So what we're going to be doing is doing a big clearing and a rejuvenation of the female baby making equipment, essentially the uterus, the fallopian tubes, the ovaries, the vagina, the labia, clitoris, all that stuff. We're going to be clearing away anything that is kind of lower energy. For example, if you've had a miscarriage or you've had an assault, or there's some darker energies down there, we're going to clean that up. Also, we're going to be doing clearings on things that maybe are infections like HPV virus and herpes and some of those things that might be troublesome in that area. So it's a wonderful goddess rejuvenation experience. Everyone who's taken this class has loved it. We will be doing some fun things, and we're going to be doing some powerful activations for all of you goddesses who are ready to feel juicier and sexier in your body right now. Hey, I bet you are already beautiful from the inside out, aren't you? But you know what? It's time to really activate that gorgeous goddess of you. I know I've been personally working on that myself. I've been following some protocols with nutrition and have actually lost a little more weight than I have been able to in the past. So I'm going to be sharing some of those secrets that I've learned with you. We're going to be doing some activations in the body and meditating for 60 days. This is an 8-week program. It's luscious. I promise you, you're going to get some wonderful results. Of course, we're always in the summer working on skin. We'll be working on cleansing and on ways to maybe get the body to let go if you're holding on to extra weight. That was one of the things. A lot of times people just want to tighten and tone and just feel like they're radiantly beautiful from the inside out and that they look younger and healthier and happier than they ever have. And that's what this program does. You fall in love with yourself. I promise you, after a week of meditating on these beautiful meditations on really activating the goddess in you, you look more beautiful, but you also emit a beautiful kind of I love myself energy, which is intoxicating. So I invite you to, gorgeous goddess, be beautiful from the inside out.